product page on our website, though. And so this product is awesome and new. We're totally excited about it. It really does do, as a consultant in SharePoint for many years, this does a lot of what I've been trying to do at each customer site time and time again. So I'm glad that we were able to sort of productize that and bring that to the market in a way that allows us to be a little bit more efficient in our efforts out there, right? So let's take a look at that today. So today we're going to work through a couple of slides here, but really is a demonstration that we're going to do. So a little bit about Bamboo. If you don't know us, we've been around for quite a while. I think it's 15 plus years now. We are a gold partner with Microsoft. We do specialize pretty much in anything SharePoint related. So we're not only products, but we're also a services company. So we do have entire services teams that assist with, installs, configurations, updates, anything around SharePoint at all, whether it's development or admin related. So we've got 50 plus products now along with those services. So full stack shop. So we obviously provide those services to many customers. I think we've got over 8,000 worldwide that we support or have supported. We're just glad to be doing business. We love SharePoint, and so many exciting things going on out there right now in the SharePoint world, right? Office 365 specifically, just amazing. So the agenda about what we're going to cover today is we're going to go over what ParentChild is. We'll do a little bit of a demo on that so you can see the product in working. And then we're going to talk about some of those limitations in the release schedule around the product itself, as well as some pricing. So let's talk about it. What is ParentChild? So if you haven't seen the product page and you're still wondering, what is this thing? And you talk about relationships between data like that, right? That would help in SharePoint. And that's in a nutshell what we're going to do here. So we're going to show how ParentChild allows the user to specify parent-child relationships between existing SharePoint lists and libraries. So you're probably used to using lookup columns and building relationships across lists through that. But what if you had a view that really showed those related items in relation to the one you're currently viewing, right? So that's what we're going to do today with ParentChild. ParentChild does automatically display those related children, like I said, and that information on a parent's default edit and display forms. So that you maintain that context as you're working with your data of what else is related to it, et cetera. So it also allows users to create and link children on the fly, which is super cool. We're able to go and find other entities or related data and make relationships to that data as we're working in our particular entity. We're going to allow users to define autofill behavior across the ancestor and descendant lists. And it works for Office 365 and it's on-prem. So it's a JavaScript-based solution. So if you are on-prem or in the cloud, we've got you covered. It can run there. So a little bit about what that looks like, right? To make this relationship and how we're going to look at it here in our demo. This is what we'll be working with. So we've got these lists over here on the left side in the yellow. We've got department, employee, project, calendar, documents, and contract, right? And there's relationship between those lists, but it's not real simple to do, right? So in a standard SharePoint list, you build a lookup column, you look up the employee list, and so now when I go and click that from my department list, it takes me over to the employee item, right? But I kind of have lost the context of those relationships. And I really would like to see what calendar items, in the case of the green on the right, I want to see what contracts an employee has when I'm viewing an employee. And that's what we're going to do with the solution is allow for that view. So this is a breakdown of the data we'll be working with today in the demo. We're going to have a department. It's going to have a department will be related to employees and projects. And an employee has a relationship to contracts, and projects have relationships to calendars and documents. So hopefully I can make that more clear here when we step into the product itself. There is a question solution here in GoToWebinar. So as I'm going through this and you have questions pop up, please type them in and I'll try and answer those here on the call and get that taken care of for you. If it's something I can't answer for you, I will definitely get back to you. I do have your registration information, so I'll be able to respond to you with a support team response potentially that gets you the detail you're looking for. So what I'm going to do now is load up my, just bear with me a second. I'm going to load up my dev environment here so that I can show you guys. All right, so I've got my screen here. So I'm going to open up a couple of links here to show you the full solution. Okay, so I've got my this one, and I need this one. Okay, so how all this begins is you install our cloud parts. And our cloud parts are provisioned using a installer. It's a text file that we send you, and you can add it to a web part as a reference within the content editor web part on a page. And you create that page. Maybe I should just run through that real quick. Let's do that real quick. Let me open this up. We got contents, and I think it's in site pages. Let's go over here. So within site pages, I've created a page, and it's called Bamboo Client Installer. And it's just a blank page, but I've edited the page, and I've added a text file that comes in the download of your product. So when I do that and I edit this page, I'll just show you real quick here. As fast as Office 365 will serve my page. So when I edit the page, I added a content editor web part. And so in this editor web part, in the zip file that you'll receive from us, you'll have this file. And so we upload that file, and we point to it here within the content editor. And what that does is it provides us this upload mechanism that allows you to deploy the solution. So these are JavaScript-based solutions, and then what you do is you come here to the client installer, you tell it what site collection you'd like to provision this particular web part to, and then we browse to the zip file that you downloaded or got access to from us, right? And so let me see, I don't think I have, there it is, ParentChild zip right here. So if I select that, I'll just go ahead and overwrite it because we just did this yesterday. It should be all right. So I'll load the cloud part, and you'll see it's going to run through a series of processes. You're going to have a little bit of a log here, and you'll be able to, if there were any issues with deployment, you'd be able to troubleshoot this with us. You'd be able to send us this log and say, hey, here's what happened, right? I had an issue or don't have an issue, right? Usually it's pretty streamlined. The final line, package deploy complete. Voila, now we've got ParentChild deployed to this particular site collection that I'm working in. So there we go. So now if I go to the configuration page, so next we've got a configuration page, and this is for ParentChild. And what this does is usually upon deployment of the solution, you've got it in off state. Well, we got to turn this on, and what that does is enables all the lists within this particular site. It is scoped to this particular site. It enables all these lists to have this functionality applied to them. So now what I can do down here is configure the relationships across the lists that I want. So I have told it so far that my department list has a relationship, a child of projects, and department has a child of test list. This is just an example because I want to show you how to mass associate some data. So this test list has thousands of records in it. But also departments are related to employees. So if you remember our green hierarchy PowerPoint slide I showed you just a second ago, we had department at the top. Departments have projects and employees. Employees have a relationship to contracts. So I've got an employee list with a child of contracts, but the projects had childs of calendar items and documents, right? I've also added that contracts can have documents, but that's out of scope here. So anyways, it's real simple, right? So I've got a field here. I select which list is the parent, and I say, let's say maybe contracts have calendars, right? So let's say contract has a child of a calendar. And so contracts can have many calendar items now related to them. So once we've got that in there, now we can actually go to the list. So let's go check out departments again. So where's my departments here? Here we go. So here's my departments list. And this is just the standard SharePoint list view, right? So currently, in case you're wondering, it does only work in classic mode. It does not work in the modern experience at this time. We are working on it, and it's being heavily focused on, but currently it is classic. So what I've done is said that I want to view this list in classic mode, and so that's why I have this option here to exit the classic mode. So here I am in classic mode for my departments list, standard SharePoint list, right? Everything you're familiar with, nothing custom about this, except for when I go to interact with the list item here. So when I click on sales department, you'll notice an animated page fly in. So now I've got this new experience. So here I am in the view item for my sales department right here. I've got a lot of functionality here you're probably seeing. So first of all, I've got the two related objects or two related entities that we spoke of in the green PowerPoint slide diagram, right? So I've got departments, and departments have employees and projects. And look at there. I've got my list of employees that are related to the sales department, and I also have my list of projects that are related to the sales department with some metadata. So I can specify which fields. I literally can just go to each of these lists, the projects list or the employees list, and build a view with a specific name, and it will be populated here. It will show those columns that you said to show in that view. So for projects, I've said in the parent-child view, I want it to show these columns. And so that's completely customizable. It does have the keyword filter capability here. So it's filtering these client side. So I can say I'm looking for Mickey, right? And filter that down. So if you have large list here, we'll do that. It does paginate. So if you get over, I think it's 50 records, it will paginate so that you can navigate across that, and keyword filter will span across all of those pages. We have the ability to refresh data. So let's say we're reviewing this item or viewing this item, and someone else in the system we know is making changes. We can just click this to go and fetch that data again, and sort of get a refreshed view of that. So one of the things I want to show here is that I can add new items. So if I wanted to, I hover over the plus icon here for each of these lists, and I've got the capability to create new child of employee. Or I can link existing employee items. And so this is a really neat functionality to say, if I say link an existing, it's going to go to the employee list and look for any orphaned items, things that don't have a relationship to another item. So I'll close that out because you can see that I have no employees that are currently orphaned. I have 0. So that's good. But one of the things I do have, I think I have an existing project that is orphaned. So I've got a project here, update contact to lead process. And that sounds like a sales department type of project. Probably should be related here. So all I got to do is select this row. So I select the row and I say add selected items. And now I should have my project here. So I've got the update contact to lead process now in relation to my sales department. So that was super simple, right? Let me see here. I've got a quick question. Let me see. I might want to bear with me here. Can the paging results be changed by updating a parameter limit in the web config? So you want to see if you can paginate based on smaller sizes potentially. Yes, I believe that's configurable. I can get back with you at the end of this to discuss with our product owner and make sure that that is the case, but that certainly makes sense to be able to do that, right? And can the paging results be changed by updating? Yep, okay, same question there, got it. All right, so continuing on then. So we've got the ability to create new and link existing from the context of where we're working, correct? So one of the cool things, so test list here, if we go and link existing test list items here, look at this. So this is a particular list that's got thousands of records in it, just to demonstrate what that looks like. Well, we've got 701 records. So it says you can hold shift and plus click and drag over rows to select ranges. So I can do that. I can, let's say I click this one, hold down shift, and click this one. I'm supposed to click and drag here. Let me see. Yep, like this. See? So I can do that, multi-select, or they're just toggles. They're not like hold down control to select many. I just toggle them like this. I can filter them down if I want. It does have search, and it would allow me to filter those down to find ones that I might be looking for specifically to tie to the sales department. It's paginated down here. So if I go to the second page and start selecting more, and I go back to the first page, I didn't lose the selections, right? So that's a nice productivity hack there. To make this pretty useful. So then I can make a relationship and I can add these selected items. So now the sales department should have all of those items related to it. It's awesome, right? So one of the things we haven't done yet is drill down into the hierarchy of related information. So here we go. So now what do we know about our diagram? Let me see if I can load that back up here for a sec. What we know is that an employee has contracts related to it, and a project has calendars and documents. So now if I go to navigate into one of these children, I can go into, let's say we go into an employee. Let's go into John Keller's profile here for the sales department. So now you can see within the context of sales department, we are now in I know this is a little bit small. The department is sales, the employee is John Keller, and that's sort of the breadcrumb hierarchy of where we're at. Now I'm viewing John Keller, and John Keller, as an employee, has relationships to contracts. So as an employee, we're looking at the contracts here. He's a part of a lot of contracts. And then when I go to do the same, I can create a new contract. One of the features that we're going to call out here in just a moment is, if you'll notice, the department and the test person fields were auto-populated when I went to go create a new one from the context of this one. And that utilizes our PC linked lists. So we got another list that allows you to configure a relationship for that new form, so that as you go and add new items, some of the fields can be auto-populated with data, and those relationships can be made correct, right? So here, particularly, we said the department should be sales department, since we know we're in the context of the sales department through the hierarchy of this relationship. And then we want the test person. And the test person, we said, just bring in the employee and assign them to the test person for this particular contract. And that's how we could add a new related item. Same functionality here, being able to link existing items. So here we've got an orphaned contract that could be related to John Keller if we'd like, etc. So we've got that. So now if we drill into a contract, I did just tell it that what? I made a change just at the moment, when we were looking at the configuration. I added, where are we at? Bear with me here. Here we go. I said calendar should be related to contracts. Well, if you notice, also documents were related to contracts. So now I've got these two items related to contracts, and I can actually go in and add a new calendar item and close that down. Or I can go and add a new or existing document. So if I click link existing document items, check this out. So now we're in a document library, and I've got the ability to navigate across that folder structure and make multi-selects at different varying levels of that folder structure, right? So now I can say, I want this file and this file and this file. I want those related to sales department, John Keller, contract such and such, right? So pretty cool. It blows me away every time I use this, because I don't know how many times like I said, I've been consulting on customer sites, and I just could have used this solution just to leapfrog so far ahead in the effort. So anyways, that is a quick look at how we can drill down in those relationships and continue to interact and add new relationships. So we're going to close this down, and I want to go show you the where are we at? Here we go. So here we are. There's a list that's got a name called SPX PC linked columns. And within this list, it'll be provisioned automatically when you deploy the web part. This is where you make those relationships for auto-filling content. So one of the things I've been testing here that we're working on next is auto-filling people picker fields with other people picker fields. And currently that is, it's not working for me. But what I can do, like you saw in the contract, is I was able to fill that employee people picker field with a string. So I knew that from the employee, John Keller, which was in the title field. So if you look at this, we were filling in a contract, and we wanted to fill in the test person field. I'm just trying to explain how this reads. So within the contract list, when you go to add a new one, in the test person field in the contract list, I want to go look at the employee title field and populate this field with that value. Right. So within contract, we also, you saw when I added a new one, we wanted in the contracts list, the department field to be pre-populated on load with the department list title that it's related to. And so just by adding that simple 4 values there, you're able to really get that somewhat automation relationship there, or form field fill in that kind of helps to maintain, first of all, the integrity of those relationships and the strings and the values that get entered into fields. Secondly, just to improve the sort of efficiency for which you're filling in data, right? So that for whatever reason, it's very useful to be able to do such a thing. So here we are in technology, going to bug fixes, and then a project had many documents and many calendar event items. So if I go back to show that relationship again, sales department, in that linked list, we added, what was it, in the contracts that are related to employees. So employee within a department has a contract, and if I want to go add a new contract, that configuration I established said to pre-populate these 2 fields. right? And that's what that does. So I don't know if that presented any questions or any confusion around sort of how to use or build those configurations or links to allow that data to auto-populate, but super useful. Let's see. I think for the most part that it covers the experience. So we are here in SharePoint Online. We are using a classic site, classic page. And that page gets overridden with some functionality to sort of take over that experience when you click on standard SharePoint list items. So I can show this in another order. If I go to, let's say we're viewing projects, right? Instead of the departments, it doesn't have to be at that top level, right? The departments were at the top level of our sort of relationship of data, but it doesn't have to be. So if I view from a lower level item, specifically a department, or sorry, a project, and I click on the title field or the linked field for that particular list, and I click on marketing materials. Oh, so this is the experience that you get when it's not in classic mode. It doesn't override. So if I return the list to classic mode by clicking the link down there in the bottom, and then I click on the title, check it out. Now we have that functionality, right? So now I can see that from a project level, I can now dig down from there. I don't have to do it all from the department level. So you'll retain that navigation and that sort of context that we're within the project. We are in the marketing department because this project's related to that. And then here we are in the details of this particular document. So that was a quick look. That was, less than 26 minutes look at parent-child. But I think it gets the point across of the enhancement that this can have on the particular data and the relationships you have in your environment. So strong tool. If you've got any questions about the settings or anything like that, please let me know. I'll get those answered for you. Otherwise, I think that's just about it for the demonstration of the product. I don't want to beat it too much. Let me see if I've got any more. I've got a couple questions here. Hold on. Let's see, for some reason my questions are super compacted. All right, let's take a look here. Can the Bamboo ParentChild tool have a permission delegate tool to make wide-scale permission changes to multiple linked lists? Or do we have to regulate permissions by going to each linked SharePoint list separately? Yeah, so currently the permissioning and all of the security trimming around those particular lists is still standard SharePoint out-of-the-box functionality. There is no built-in tool to ParentChild itself to sort of maybe make that more intuitive or assist with that process. So still go to your standard SharePoint list settings and configure the permissions there. But it would be, obviously the data is just being fetched. It would be permission trimmed. So all data that's surfaced through this would be permission trimmed. So if you do have those unique permissions set on those lists, users would not see data that they wouldn't normally be apprised to see. Also, that kind of brings up another point. The list limit. We've had customers already trying to fetch data over the 5,000 list item threshold, right? And so that actually does not come into play here. We have solved the problem of being able to load more than 5,000 items and bypassing that list fee threshold, so that it does get paginated when you're viewing those related items in those subgrids, if you will. You can look past that threshold. Let's see here. Okay, I'm going to keep moving forward. I don't think I missed. Let me see here. I'm just looking through the questions again. No, I think that's it. Okay, so we got through the demo. The current limitations in the system. Let's see what we got. We've got, it's self-contained to the site it's installed on, right? So that is the scope of the solution. It does not reach across sites or site collections yet. So we are looking at expanding that so that you can sort of, I don't know if you're familiar with our other products, but we do have a product called List Rollup that does allow you to branch out and fetch data from across site collections and bring it into one view. So we do intend to bring that capability to this particular solution so you can make relationships to lists in other sites' site collections. So that's super exciting, but not yet. So children can only have one parent. So currently there is a many to one which is not supported yet. So expected to be remedied by the end of Q2, sometime around July, to where we can have those stronger, bigger, deeper relationships. Modern Pages not yet supported, like I talked about, so we are working on that. We also are looking at July to be able to remedy that solution, or come up with a solution for that. Yeah. So pricing. So here we go. Office 365 as well as on-prem, same price. We do license this per tenant on Office 365. So your entire domain gets, or sorry, not tenant, but your entire domain does get covered. So you could use this in as many sites as you'd like. It's unlimited users. It really is just licensing that entire domain. So SharePoint Online or SharePoint on-prem, on the other hand, when you license there, it's per environment. So production would be licensed at that price, and that would give you unlimited users, unlimited sites, site collections, wherever you want to use it within that domain or that environment. Sorry. So it would be one license per each. So if you had a production and a DR or a test, it would be priced at that. Our non-production environments are priced at half price, so that's how you would license those. The second year on is 22% to maintain an active renewal state so that you can submit support tickets, get bug fixes, get feature updates, all those kinds of things. So second year on, you just pay for renewal, and that's 22% of that cost. If you've got any questions about that, you can reach out to me specifically at sales@bamboosolutions.com to talk about pricing, or maybe you want to get a trial or a demo or something like that. I can definitely hook you up with that. So please don't hesitate to reach out. What else? No user-based pricing. Woohoo! We're so excited to not have user-based pricing. We do offer multiple payment options. So you got the credit card, the bank transfers, and the invoices. And then we offer try before you buy. So we got a try, ask, buy methodology here. So we'd love to be able to let you try the product and get it in your environment, test it out, tell us what you think, and then go from there. So this is one of our cloud products. This is one of 14, I think, now. So we have a very, very agile development team working on these products. Most of our features and product development is driven by customer feedback. So we love to be in this environment where we can get feedback from you, stuff that we feel is a great fit for the product as a whole. We actually implement into our product backlog and prioritize. And so sometimes you can make a request for a feature enhancement or something like that that can be shown in the product in your environment in production within as early as 5 to 6 weeks. So we love to be able to provide that that sort of experience for you guys. It drives the enthusiasm here internally as well to hear your enthusiasm and interest in developing a product. We do 12 release cycles per year, which support continuous improvement. So our products are continuously developed against. We have, like I said before, a very agile development team. We follow Scrum company-wide, so every 2 weeks, new releases, new updates, new something. So very consistently pushing out updates and getting these things where they need to go. Most of our cloud products are now SPFX capable, so SharePoint framework compatible to deploy through your app catalog and the modern page experiences. This particular project, not yet, but that is, like I showed in the last slide, very coming soon. We also have new releases or updates happening every month, which, yeah, like I said, we are developing with an intensity right now that is very exciting. So that is all I have today. Let me look one more time. If you got any last minute questions, please let me know. I will get those answered. If you don't want to ask here and you just want to shoot me an email, again, you can reach me at sales@bamboosolutions.com, and I'm the one that answers that box. This recording will be made available after, I think tomorrow, the follow-up email will go out with a link to the recording of this video, so you can watch that again if you need to, as well as I'll attach the PowerPoint presentation so you can review that if necessary. Well, I really appreciate you guys jumping on today. Thank you all so much. If you've got any questions, you know how to reach me. And yeah, have a great day. I got one more question here. Oh no, duplicate question, sorry. Got a thank you. Absolutely, sir. All right, thanks again. Shutting off the stream now.